Test, test, 1, 2, 3. Test, test, 1, 2, 3. Audio check. Audio check. Audio sound good? Good, good.
All right, can you all hear me? Rodney, can you hear me? Okay, we're good. All right. It is 6:03 and I'm calling the Garden City Community College Board of Trustees December meeting to order. Thank you everybody for attending. Love this time of year, love the decorations. And thank you to everybody who participated in the decorating contest. It was great. There's a few comments. First of all, thank you to Marie and her staff at Great Western Dyeing. They participated in a lot of the decorating and they provided a terrific meal or hors d'oeuvres for us at the Garden City Community College Christmas party. We send all our appreciation to faculty, to staff, and to community members who joined us for celebrating. Big success in football. Garden City Community College football team won the inaugural Scooters Coffee Bowl, which was fun to watch. Loved it. I was very proud of those guys. I think they were exemplary in their performance and their behavior. And loved it. It was just great to watch. And then lastly, thank you to you guys. Thank you to staff. And we wish you all a very Merry Christmas, warm holiday, filled with lots of comfort and joy and rest and relaxation. So thank you. Report from SGA. Do we have one tonight? Oh, we do. Yeah, thank you. What contest? Oh, that's right, the app name. Okay. No, I think we're good. Thank you, Maya. Thanks for coming back out for the report. Introduction of new employees.
Thank you, Ryan. He is originally from Garden City. He brings a wealth of experience to the college as he has 20 years of experience in IT. Prior to returning to his hometown, he worked for Russell Stover Chocolates as a network administrator. He is a graduate of Garden City Community College, and he obtained his associates in computer engineering. Please welcome Walter Hubbard.
No, not unfortunately, no.
No.
My family's
connect-
disappointed as well.
Yeah.
I am pleased to welcome Carrie Connolly, our new Director of Adult Learning and Education, the Garden City Career Connection Academy. There we go. Wow. A native of Kentucky, Carrie has over 30 years in academia. Prior to retiring in Kentucky, he served in numerous capacities in a 15-year span at Henderson Community College in Henderson, Kentucky. To name just a few, Carrie served as an Associate Dean of Community and Student Engagement, Associate Dean of Enrollment Management and Student Services, Director of Academic Advising and Assessment, and Admissions Counselor and Adult Education Math Instructor. Prior to entering higher education, Carrie taught middle school and high school science for 15 years. He attended Morehead State University, where he obtained a Bachelor's of Science in Earth Science and later his Master of Science in Secondary Education from the University of Southern Indiana. We are very lucky to have Carrie with us.
Thank you. Thank you, Walter, Carrie. We look forward to hearing about you guys in the future. So, thank you very much. Okay.
Madam Chair, I move that the board recess into executive pursuant to open meeting. Meeting might violate the right to privacy, and our president, vice president, CFO, and attorney included. The open meeting will resume here in now the minutes after 6. Oh, and Colin.
Okay, we're back in session and there was no action taken from our executive session. So we're moving on to our agenda. I would just announce that we are expecting another executive session and it is coordinated with some people attending by Zoom. So our agenda may flip a little bit or we need to be flexible. So I was hoping everybody was okay with that. Okay, so for now though, we're moving on. We're on to consent agenda. Any items of concern or want to address?
Madam Chair, I make the motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve consent agenda as presented. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, consent agenda passes. Item number 4, confirmation of monitoring reports. We do not have any, correct? Yeah. Merry Christmas. Okay. Number B, reviewing the monitoring reports. I do have an item for us for discussion. Chanda, if you want to pass that on to Jody and company there. All right, this is in regards to our discussion last month about General Executive Constraints number 10 that says the president shall not fail to ensure a safe and healthy environment on campus. As I was thinking about that and thinking about our responsibility as a board and whether we needed to revise this, the first thing that came up to my mind was athletics and how I think, and I think a lot of people would agree that athletics is a high risk for injury and liability to the college. And to my knowledge, we make mention of the practices that we have implemented in the athletics department, but I think we need to formalize it and put it into policy governance with the expectation that the president would be reporting specifically on what's going on in athletics. And so I had a hard time thinking about this. And so I wrote down my thoughts as I was going through this. When I reviewed what Carver mentions when you're trying to modify a monitor, it said that you need to write the expectations. I mean, what do you want to monitor and what do you expect? And so these were just some examples of the things that I personally thought of when evaluating athletic injuries and the idea of implementing things to prevent injury and promote health. Very meansy is what very meansy kinds of things. And so I really didn't want to prescribe those things, but like I said, I was just writing my thoughts down. So then I went there and then I tried to back out to write something that was more directional from the board to the president. And again, I think the reason is that it's our job to mitigate risk of the college and that athletics can be a high risk area. So what I came up with is that draft addition to policy governance that would be under number 10, the safe and healthy of the environment of the campus. Recognizing the higher risk of injury and liability of athletics, the president shall not fail to continuously assess, evaluate, and improve athletic safety. So first of all, I want to hear your thoughts about this, if you think it's necessary at all, and I'm open to your opinions on that. So let's go ahead and just discuss that first. Thoughts?
I think the thoughts that I've had, on this, definitely being able to have language that is focused on information that we need to have relative to athletics. I think there is some aspects there, particularly with the number of students and the amount of liability that we have involved with athletics, that it could warrant this. My one caution or thought, and I'd express this to Dr. Douglas there as well, is it's good to have the expectations outlined as far as what it is that we may want to, as a board, look at and review in respect to safety and athletics, to keep those expectations outside of the policy. I think really as we look at any of the reports that the board has, they have the latitude to say we want more data. We want, we have expectations. We would like more information. And those are conversations that can be had. So I think outlining the expectations and knowing the types of information that can be divulged and brought forward is helpful. Carla had made a point there as well, which I think is good, that one of the other things we might want to take a look at is usage of athletic insurance. We take a look at several different aspects, but I think that might be an additional component that we look at there as well. So adding this in, I think has merit, has warrants, based upon the number and the liability that's incurred with athletics. But I would, my recommendation would be to leave expectations outside of the policy, just outline what it is that the board would like to see as far as within this particular report, and have that be left up to the interpretation that I provide.
Unfortunately, I think in this day and age, I think having a policy, having some data behind it protects the college and protects the institution. We may not like to do it, but we all know that you can never have enough data, and in this world, it's just the way it is. And come down the road, we have some kind of information and saying this is what we have done at least we're not strung out there empty-handed. And it may not be everything that we're supposed to be doing, or it may not be exactly right, but at least we have a foundation and say, okay, well, we've done this, maybe we need to improve on this. And I think that's the idea of these policies. I understand it's more work for Dr. Ruda, but I look at it as a protection for the institution.
And segment the athletic portion. Generally, you know, that's not how the practice. Make sure spotlight on this. And I really don't think it's gonna add that much to what you're doing. It would all be in one package. It would be kind of subdivided as the athletic.
It does. It would.
Yes.
I have a couple of points. Athletics. What happens if somebody else gets in? And it's not covered under it. Secondly, I think we'd have to have legal counsel. If for some reason he didn't do it, now we're more liable under that. If we have it in general constraint and governance of the safety of everybody, I think it's always good.
Okay, my answer back to you, Dave, is, you know, that we had a death on campus years ago, and I think it's our responsibility to make sure that doesn't happen again. And I would take ownership of the fact that we should have done this earlier to respond to that. So I'll let you talk. But I think the idea of the board saying we want this to be evaluated and assessed. We're not saying what they do or not. And I know I like I said, I got meansy up there on the top of the expectations, but it was the only way I could think through of what I wanted to do. But I think what I would like to see is that we're, as a board, expecting the president to check in on athletics and make sure that they're looking at their practices, looking at their policies, making sure they're counting how many injuries they are and saying, hey, now we've had 6 CLs. Why did that happen? Or, well, and it's not that Dr. Ruda has to do that, but it's the staff and the medical director look at that and they say, okay, is there anything that we need to change? And if not, you know, yay, and we've documented that we investigated it. So, and I'm guessing some of that already goes on. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just thinking that it should come from the board down to the president and in response to what has happened in the past. So do I think there's a liability if Ruta didn't report on it? Not a liability, but we would hold him accountable to it.
I think there's a liability whether you put it there or not, quite honestly. I mean, we charge them with safety. Or not. Madam Chair, not that I'm great with words or anything else, but I don't see where I read just the draft edition and I kind of look at it as could we just say the president shall not fail to continuously assess, evaluate, and improve athletic safety and not highlight the higher risk of injury and liability of athletes? I mean, that's, I look at that as, we all know that, or maybe, but short, sweet, to the point, the president shall not. That's fine. That's part of the word. Well, when it's subset underneath of, yeah, underneath of that, it files back to that original policy. So, but that's,
Yeah, with that, Dave, go
See
ahead.
that point, but at the same time, what about bands? What about the other program? Things could happen in band too, where you could have a heart attack. It's wrong. We're not including them in athletics. We have a criminal justice, they're out there on the ring.
athletic and slash extracurricular activities. I don't know. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, we charge the president with these things, but a lot of times the president is getting this information from his staff, is the athletic director, from CFO, from vice presidents of different departments, and working together, they form up the collection that we're going to get presented on. So it's, yes, it's Dr. Ruda ultimately that we hold him accountable, but he's relying on his administration staff. So,
Let me ask this question there too, because it kind of goes back to the point there, I think that you were making, Blake, on revising some of the language. So currently we have the president shall not fail to ensure a safe and healthy environment on campus. What I'm hearing and what I'm seeing is that there's an expectation that the board wants report and information about what is being done on athletic specific safety measures. So is there need to be able to add another policy, or is it to set the expectation that we want this information as a part of the overall safety? Because I, yeah. Right. Correct.
No, it's okay. It's fine.
Yeah, I think what's more important, as we're doing the monitoring and the review of reports, what's more important is to have this conversation. Yes, we've accepted the report. However, as we go forward, there's more information, and there's more detail that we are wanting. Is it on extracurricular activities? Is it on athletics? And being able to have that conversation that says in the next semi-annual review, these data points need to be included so that we have a checks and balance, assuring the board that these types of activities and measures are happening. And I'm ensuring that that happens. Yeah.
No.
Madam Chair, if we do this, I think we'll also have to include a policy for John Deere. They may call off the combine when they're working on it, get their head on the concrete, woodworking, and have somebody cut a finger off here a couple of years ago. Like I said, criminal justice, they're out on the firing range with guns, live animals. And I know the safety training they go through. We're gonna have to include everybody in this and write a different policy for each one if we're doing the right one for athletics.
I see your point.
I think it's good and valid conversation and discussion to have, whether it be on the academic advancement report, whether it be on the safety and health of campus. This type of dialogue is what we need to have that says we want more information, we want more specific information on these items. And that gives me a directive, and I have the interpretation to be able to provide that data back to you in the reporting structure.
And I would just also add, Leonard, that I think the idea of data collection about injuries, I agree, Dave, campus-wide helps to validate that we are looking at those. We're somebody's making a judgment about whether or not we need to change policy. And if we're not, yay, that also documents that we're doing well. Yeah. So.
Yeah, policy governance is about check-ins to ensure that the processes or the policies that we have in place are happening. What's my check-in to ensure we have athletic safety protocols and processes in place? That would happen through safe and healthy report on a semi-annual basis.
Mhm. Okay. I'm good with that. Let's give this a month's thought and we'll revisit next month. Jody, write that down. To remind,
Madam Chair,
yes,
would 6:45 work for the second executive?
yes. Yes. Let's suggested it was to do a recess and then we'll go to executive session at 6:45. Are we okay with that? Please.
I move the board recess into executive session. Public attorney, receive advice concerning open meetings discussion. That our president and vice president. The open meeting will resume now.
So let's go 7 p.m.
Well,
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. So we've just got a few minutes for a
There.
Ready. All right, we're back in session. There was no action taken during that session. There's none to be done right now. We were on item B, reviewing monitoring reports. And we concluded to table this discussion about the injuries on campus, and we'll review that at next month. We are on the next agenda item. And there's no comments from the public, I understand. Okay. By the way, Jody, thank you for keeping us on time. President's report.
Just a few things that I wanted to go through. First, it's been out in the public, but wanted to make mention of it again here tonight. Coach Tom Minnick was inducted into National Junior College Athletic Association Hall of Fame. Coach is currently the has a third highest winning percentage among active coaches with 133 career victories. So congratulations, Coach Minnick. Additionally, with football, Broncbusters sophomore corner Elon Kennedy was named the Jayhawk Conference Defensive Player of the Year. 15 other Broncbusters made the all-conference squad. So congratulations on a successful season. This coming spring, we will continue with the stimulus funding that we've had in place. Our funding through the federal government continues through the spring of 22, at which point the funding ends, but we will have student applications available to be able to help alleviate financial hardships for students that they can apply for up to $350 in federal stimulus funding that will be available for them. Also, just wanted to mention this past week that we did receive notice from the Mary Jo Williams Charitable Trust that we had 8 grants that were submitted by faculty and staff and received just close to $90,000 for various departmental needs and projects to address continuous improvement at Garden City Community College. So very appreciative of the Charitable Trust of Mary Jo Williams and all that it does there to improve our programs and efforts for students and the campus at large. Enrollment this fall semester, we've gone into this fall semester with a goal institutionally of an increase of 2%. We have ended our fall semester at 5.5% increase. So very successful fall semester. Going into the spring, currently as of this morning, we had set an institutional goal to be up 4% in the spring semester. Currently to date, we are at 24% increase. So still a lot of work to be done there before we head into the spring, but trending well. Also, just as a final piece, wanted to talk through things with the board with some long-term financing and projects that we will be bringing forward to the board for consideration in the new year. We talked at length about the STEM building from the Title V grant. We were working on finalizing the renderings and drawings for the STEM building. Our plan is in the spring semester to bring forward to the board consideration for lease purchase financing, similar to what we worked through this past year with John Haas. We'll be going through a similar process that would include the STEM building, which will be primarily paid for there from the Title V grant funds. But in addition, as we've administratively looked at our long-range facilities plans, there are some other projects that we will be bringing to the board for consideration to be included with lease purchase. Those projects would include replacement of our field turf at the football and soccer complex. Our turf currently is at end of its capacity there as far as end of life. So this project there would be able to put new turf down that typically will get 8 to 10 years with with regular use. In addition, as we are replacing the turf, we would also do a crack overspray just to be able to secure cracking and be able to help with prevention and life expectancy on the track while we were doing that same project. The other projects that we've looked at would be to also bring forward consideration for a video board at the athletic facility. This video board is really a means for being able to enhance the facility's use, but also put this in a position there that now as we are looking at being able to host postseason bowl games, we also have plans of being able to look at hosting high school games and doing different things with marching band contests. And all these capabilities give us the aesthetic as well as facility use to enhance the overall experience for these different contests and be able to help as a recruiting segment as well as a marketing component as we go forward there as well. And then the final piece that we would consider bringing to the board there for approval is to be able to update our large scale copier that we have in the print shop. Our copier is one that is no longer able to get parts. We have serviced it to the point of not being able to service it any longer. And the recommendation from the vendor would come forward with replacing this particular large scale copier that allows for being able to do several print jobs that we typically have to outsource. So there would be some cost incurred on the front side, obviously for purchasing the copier, but there would be cost savings on the back end where we would not have to outsource projects that we currently do because we don't have the capacity with the current copier. So as we're going forward and looking at ways to be able to still utilize, and John will talk about this more as well. Currently, the interest rates are holding favorably to where we can have some of these conversations to consider and be able to allow for ways to position Garden City Community College and Master's facilities plans going forward, addressing some of these things as well. So just wanted to update you on some things, and we will have obviously more conversations to come that involve not only financing but the project as well, but just to be able to keep you apprised as we head into next year with further conversations.
Any questions for Dr. Rudolph?
What's that overspray on that track now?
What does it amount to?
What are they overspraying with?
We could follow up and find out. I don't know what the product is that they use,
Now,
but
what it's supposed to accomplish.
well, it's supposed to
Leaks in the track that it's gonna cover up or
longevity of the track as far as
run the water off.
moisture, reducing cracks and wear and tear from,
To the sealant.
That sounds like.
yes.
Isn't that the surface also? Prevent injuries through chronic type of surface. That makes it, it helps prevent injuries.
All right, thank you very much for your report. Incidental information we had in our packet. Do you have any comments about that? Okay, report from Finney County Economic Development.
The committee commended the college for the handling of the student exploration day. That it was very professional, very well organized. Just to note that Nicole resigned with the work, he was workforce development, worked with us, got her own business now. So, her person still first spot. Yeah, I think that. Now, in glass. That's all.
Thank you very much. Report from KACCT.
The last meeting was December 3rd and 4th at Pratt Community College, and my doctor's appointment was in Kansas City on the following Monday, so I thought, hey, this would be great. I'd go halfway. And then I thought, wait a minute, I had to pack my suitcase in the trunk of my car. How in the heck was I gonna be able to unpack my suitcase piece by piece, go into the motel and come back? So Ryan expressed my disappointment that I could not be here. The next meeting is April 1st in conjunction with the Phi Theta Kappa banquet in Junction City.
Faculty Senate, Gabe.
So we, faculty has been pretty busy. At this time of the year, there's just always a lot going on. One of the things that David Rep mentioned was Exploration Day. That was November 10th. And we had nearly every program on campus participate with that. And this year we had the most students register that we've ever had. It's 650 students register for that and come onto campus. So our outreach this year was just huge. And we hosted a lot of new schools. And we had a lot of new teachers that came in with the students. And this year we ran it a little bit differently. It was kind of more of an open forum in which allowed students however much time they wanted at a particular program to view that program, talk to the instructor, get more information on that. And then they were able to go to other programs kind of as they seen fit. And it really gave them more time to focus with the instructors. And it was just an overall just great success for that. So faculty's also been working very hard on upcoming catalog updates for the 22, 23, 24 catalog. And so we've been doing we've had several meetings across campus about making sure that everyone's 4 semester plans are in place, making sure that their catalogs are up to date, PLOs, SLOs, all of that information is up to date so that when we go to publish our catalog for fall of 2022, it's uniform, it's ready to go. And so I believe our final date on that's gonna be in March sometime. So we still got a few more months to work on that, but that's going really well. The main thing I actually wanted to share was a couple of every faculty senate meeting we have, we end with joys and concerns. And we actually had a couple of really cool joys at the last faculty senate meeting we had. Seth Crystalin, he works with one of the student clubs. They're called the Book Busters, and they are students that are interested in literature and creative writing. They are currently working on a project. They call it Project 1919, which is the year Garden City Community College was founded. And they're actually working on creating a student-run publication that's going to highlight their creative works and the employees' creative writing works. So they're working on this whole project right now. They're hoping something this spring, maybe they'll be able to produce. So that's a really cool one. And for a kudos for Seth Crystal, and also he recently had 2 original literary pieces accepted for publication. And so he has gotten a couple of pieces that he's written out there. And so it's very, very cool. The last joy that we had was today is the last day for faculty on contract. So I could have left a few hours ago. So, no, it's been a good semester, and we're looking forward to spring, and things are going very good. Anyone have any questions?
I would just say when publication is available, we'd love to see it. Yeah.
Yes, I'd be glad to. Yeah, I'll forward that information.
Okay.
Now it sounds like numbers are up big for the spring. Is faculty ready for this or,
Oh, yeah. it's-
Okay.
Yeah, this is kind of what we always prep for, is we're prepping for more students. We're always trying to extend our goals and make sure that we're ready for those goals, and everything's going really good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Merry Christmas. Accreditation update.
We're going to yield until January with all the end of semester activities. We gave Mark free here this month there. So
All right. You get a free pass.
Since he passed his dissertation review.
Yeah,
Otherwise.
yeah, that's worth
He's been
something.
working on his paper.
Right.
That's worth something. Program reviews, do we? Okay. Oh, please.
I'll give you this one.
There it is. You're on.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to present information about our campus police department. We have provided all of you with a summary of the department review. I believe the complete review is approximately 20 pages. I will touch on a few items or a few areas from the summary. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those. If you'd like to see the entire document, I'd be happy to share that with you as well. The first thing I'd like to talk about is our mission. The mission of the Garden City Community College Campus Police Department is committed to providing a safe and secure learning environment for the students, faculty, and staff, and the general public while on campus and in any facility owned or operated by the college. We will achieve this through community partnerships, education, planning, and the enforcement of state and local laws. This is significant. The words really don't do the process justice. When we started our police department in 2014, each member of the agency had input. I had discussions with all of them. We wanted something that supported our college mission, and I think this does it very well. The key to all of this is the community partnerships. That's an area where we actually, I think, excel. We have a great relationship with local first responders, local law enforcement, other safety entities, and we continue to build on that every year. Our core values are extremely important. Trust, and it's all there: trust, integrity, compassion, professionalism, teamwork, ethical behavior, diversity, and fair and equal treatment. These aren't just words. When we hire folks, I specifically look for people that have these traits. We have discussions about that. Once they're hired, most of our folks have come from the Finney County Sheriff's Department, deputies. We've had a few police officers with the GCPD that I've worked with, instructors. This carries on through their time with the college. And each of them have an understanding of what our mission is, where we're headed, how important this is. Each year, we have to, community policing is our philosophy. There's two main components: building and sustaining a partnership and problem solving. We strive every year to maintain that partnership, and it's a challenge because you get new students every year. Now with the Fund the Police movement across the country, we're seeing where some students from especially larger cities, they don't trust the police. We've got to try to break down those barriers every year. So these officers that we have hired here, and currently we have 10, the numbers are a little different than what we have in the review here. We have 10 and they're all motivated, and they are the strength of our department. And you can read through the document and it'll talk more about some of the strengths that we have and that, but I want to focus before I close on one main issue that we need to strive to be a little better at. Now, one of the things, it's the interaction with the students. It's trying to take things to another level where they actually take in safety suggestions, initiatives from us and the administration and really all the faculty, staff, employees that we have here. Two areas that strike me is diversity, equity, and inclusion. Respect. Respect goes two ways. building that, and we're trying from our side. And the other one is basic understanding of consent and relationship issues. Some students come to the college, it's their first time away from home. They've never been in a relationship. Some have been in many relationships, and sometimes they meet. And there's a different understanding of what consent is, what relationships are all about, healthy relationships. So we work with the school nurse, we work with the folks in the dorms, but I'd like to take it to a higher level. And I talked to the officers. Mark Malone's helped me out tremendously. And the way that we're looking to do that is actually it's not my idea. It's a team approach, but it's including these issues with classes, the development classes of the college skills class. And so Mark and I have talked about it, and he's tasked me, and I'm up for the challenge to meet with the folks with our committee, our diversity committee, to meet with folks that are instructors in these areas and try to put together information in classes where these issues are discussed. Because in my short time here with the college, the one area that we can really improve is educating the students on these issues that really change two people's lives, their paths. They change the victim, obviously, and something they have to live with for the rest of their lives. But students, sometimes they make poor choices because they don't know any different. They haven't learned. So part of our mission here at the college about building successful people, positive contributors to society, this is an important part. So I wanted to focus on that one. There's other areas you'll see in the goals, the back 2 pages, some of our basic stuff. But this one is something that I'd like to complete within the next 5 years. And before I retire, this is one of those projects that I want to pass forward, if it makes sense. So thank you. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those now, or if you'd like to contact me later, I'd be happy to answer those then as well. Yes, sir. Yeah, well, I'm still here and I'm still giving 100%, and I don't plan in the near future, but it's coming. It's coming. Thank you very much.
I would appreciate, I want to extend my appreciation of you for thinking of mental wellness for our students and for when events happen and using them as opportunities for change. So I think that's pretty cool for a police officer to do that.
Yeah, I really appreciate that team approach, and I echo with my teammates.
Thank you. Okay, there's no other programs. Okay, ownership linkage. We have a couple people that attended some advisory committees. I attended the nursing advisory committee. In regards to connection with the community, St. Catherine Hospital was there. And Director Patsy Zeller just talked about her accomplishments throughout the semester. The hospital talked about their relationship with Garden City Community College and tracking students and as they go through their clinicals. So it was nice to participate in some of the discussions, but that's all I have to report. And Dave.
I attended the welding. Busy. They had at least 10 people there in the community and surrounding areas. All complimentary reports, the welding program, and making suggestions for improvement. Very good meeting.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I did get to attend the animal science, and there was about the same, about 10 to 12 individuals from around the community. Dr. Clint Alexander has a handful of things going on and just trying to stay, I think, above water. He's pretty busy and active in a lot of different areas and just trying to keep up. But of course, we're all apprised that they started making hamburgers for the school district, which has brought on a tremendous job load. But they're working on getting a kill floor or with Gigot Farms. They're getting that poured, and that'll be a good partnership because, quite honestly, Dr. Alexander said most of their judging or most of their has been all video conference. They haven't been allowed to be in Tyson or any place, or they've had to go up to Nebraska just to get into a floor. So by having that, they'll have some hands-on experience. And they discussed that some of even the bigger universities are talking about maybe coming down or hoping that they can participate because they are just so limited. And we, like I said, we have a really good program going on. So there's a lot of good things. There's not enough space there, but they're making do. And like I said, really good throughout the whole community, hands-on, whatever gets going.
So our students are now at Tyson.
No, they haven't been allowed since COVID. Basically, I think they've been on once or something, I think, but they very, very low presence. And like I said, they've gone up to Nebraska, but like they said, it's the cost to go up there and get hands-on experience. So most of it's been by Zoom, which they said, isn't quite the same, of course, but they've managed. So.
Anybody else?
Madam Chair, I just want to reiterate that in October, I assisted with the competition from the criminal justice team, speaking with other colleges that are amazed at what partnerships we have with our community.
Okay.
So they don't know how to make those partnerships, how to get it to work. And dealing with the Perkins and all these advisory committees, I think we've probably got one of the best groups around as far as participating in the public.
Nice to hear. Do we want to talk about the RCIP development?
Thanks for that reminder.
Yeah.
So we have received two separate rural community improvement district requests. These requests are sent to all taxing entities. Essentially, they're for your review. There is no approval that is needed. Really, the requests that are sent are to make taxing entities aware, the boards aware of these incentive districts that are being put in there for housing. The only action that the board would have is if there is opposition, because what the board would be doing is essentially, as with all the other rural housing incentives that have came forward, would be foregoing your tax will be an abatement. So if the board is not opposed to the housing development going forward, then there is no action. So just opening up for any thoughts or opinions. There is a defined time frame that we would have to get back within 30 days to the city if there is opposition by the board.
Madam Chair, it's been county economic development. It was discussed in the county meeting how much tax that you lose is off of basic undeveloped land. So in one case, it's going to be like $700 for all split between all of them. So not a tremendous amount.
there's more benefit that comes from the development of the housing and development of the land than there is to be gained from opposing and receiving the $700 or $800.
So is there anybody that has worries or concerns about the RCIPs to the point that we want to oppose it? No. So consensus is that we support.
Very good. Thanks.
Great, thank you. Okay. Last item that I have is asking you to fill out your board self-assessment. Just a couple statements about last month's assessment. There were 5 assessments that were turned in. 2 of the 5 commented that we were hinging on talking about means rather than ends and vision. So I'm just pointing that out, and I feel that if we head down that road again in a discussion, any of us, please steer us back to the right path. And I hope that y'all feel the same way about that. The rest of the questions we all agreed upon. And in regards to the last question, the board's responsibility and participation in the HLC process, we're in the range of 3 to 5. Not sure to strongly agree. So still a little work to do there. That is all I have. Please turn in your assessments. Jody's listed our upcoming events. And it looks like we have nothing upcoming until January now. All right. Any other items for discussion? I declare this meeting adjourned.
Merry Christmas.